has been a while since I posted. I know, I'm so sorry. I have been running from here to there to back and around and up the street, down the street, up to Dallas, back to Houston. I'm going to be going to Central Texas. So, I have been holidaying, post-holiday, birthday, remembrance, just a lot. It seems like I have, they have the thing where you have health concerns. So there's a theory out there called the spoon theory, except my spoons are all in different cups, stirring different things. So, 'tis my life. It's the way I do it. I have a busy life. And unfortunately, uploading lately hasn't been the easiest thing for me to do. We've had some people have some health issues. One of my friends that I love very deeply is grieving, and there was a loss, and another friend is having some mental health issues, and another friend, just kind of being there, being the witness, being the friend. And my little 4-year-old, she's 4, my first grandchild is 4. Can you tell I've been playing with her a lot? So I went up to Dallas for Boxing Day to spend time with my daughter, her husband, and my granddaughter. And then 3 weeks later, I'm up there to be there. And I had the privilege, especially having ALS, to be present for her 4-year anniversary, birthday. My brain. So I was there, and it was so precious seeing little 4 and 5-year-olds play in this really adorable indoor playground run by a church that was just so sweet. I mean, it was just so special. My daughter decorated it so beautifully. It came together so well. I had rented a car that it had a little bit of a smoke smell, and the guy was like, well, we'll wait an hour, we'll get you a the Jetta. And I'm like, yeah, it's a Nissan Sentra. I want to try it. I like trying out different cars. And the fact that I can still drive, that's pretty amazing, right? So went and drove it, except it really did. It had Oregon license plate, but it was in Texas. And I swear to you, they probably smoked without the windows being open too far, all the way from Oregon. Even the trunk smelled like an ashtray. I mean, spit some, I thought, I'll just do a little Febreze. We're good. Picked up cupcakes, made sure they were made from buttercream. Apparently buttercream travels better. Had those like buckled in. On my way. It was a beautiful drive. I mean, I got into Dallas traffic, which is not for the faint of heart, but coming from Houston wasn't as bad as it could be. Got there, and, just, it's such a blessing, truly. And when you have chronic illness or a terminal disease, but being present, being there, for my daughter, and, all the little prep things you do, the things before, run to Costco, get the fruit tray, get the things, do all these little things, the drinks, the this, the that, to be able to be there and be a participant. And, old Oma was the quick one to get all the stuff put up after it. She's like, Mom, you did that so fast. It's like, isn't my first radio or 4-year-old birthday party. It was wonderful, and it was nice. We got to watch the, well, I'm sure there's more Marvel movies out there, but Deadpool and Wolverine, yeah, it was good. Just kind of nice to spend time with family. If you're in the U.S., you've heard about the snow apocalypse, the Siberian wind going into Texas, and LA has a thing about, they can live through earthquakes, they can live through wildfires, the San Andreas winds, all this, but if there's rain, well, Houstonians are kind of that way about ice and snow. that? The whole city shut down and the whole state was under it. I was worried, but the extra insurance and service because I was driving, and it kind of like pushed out until Monday instead of Sunday. So I drove back Sunday afternoon, and the temperatures were dropping and dropping and dropping. They were dropping as I was driving. And, even the new cars that thing picked up winter storm advisory. So as I'm driving, it's like 33, 31, got up to 35. It's like you just go through different things, like over the hills. It's like a couple hills over, it's a different temperature, and that really was. So I did that, and then, I know with my particular form of ALS, I am a lizard. I don't know if you can see my shirt. I have, the unstoppable Tyrannosaurus Rex, because my husband and my second child referred to me as the T-Rex because I have short arms. And he does, T-Rex qualifies as a lizard, right? Well, aren't lizards surviving dinosaurs? Anyways, so as the spasticity got me on Friday to Saturday, had the pain, though I'm on the Keppra now, Snaptocure, and my doctor in Snaptocure have been so instrumental in helping me with getting the Keppra, which is amazing. I guess it's a second line drug that's used. It's not thought of as often for severe spasticity, but it's been a game changer for me. It has prevented so much pain and so much suffering. And I have my pain doctor, so we're good, right? There's nothing really strong. I mean, the opiates crisis has made chronic pain patients suffer. I'm one of the few, that small number that are suffering. Anyways, kind of had the spasticity, and the driving takes a lot more out of me than it did. So, having a 3-day little thing and having to drive 4.5 hours each way was kind of a little bit more for my body, than, especially in a winter storm, than I expected. So drove in, filled up with a little more gas. I mean, I could tell you, for about a 740-mile trip back and forth, I only spent $40 in gas. So the Nissan Sentras, they're good on gas mileage. Spent like $40 for gas, so not bad, right? I can't complain. So got in, we turned in the car. I wrote a little Post-it note that I rented it from Fernando, and the person that worked with me with Enterprise. And I love Enterprise cars. They have been a wonderful rental car service that I've used for the past 20 years. And I found out that my Costco membership, you can actually do Costco travel to rent cars, and you get a good Costco deal. It all worked out wonderful. I got my points. I got my Costco things. I got $2.87 back for this rental. My little 2% with being a executive member. So turned it in, and it's like, I did not, it was a great car. I mean, the Sentras are nice. It had like a little interior. It was a nice car. Well, pleather, I should say. Little interior. It had, the fact that I could hook up my phone and listen to my Sirius XM and talk from the car. That was really neat. I mean, I really enjoyed it. And it just smelled like an ashtray. Being a recovering smoker, it was a bit nauseous. So did that, turned it in, put the keys in, had them call back. Apparently management's going to call me because, I can't say I did. The service was great. The car worked well. It just smelled like an ashtray. I don't know what they can do about that. It wasn't like it wasn't serviced before. And it wasn't like he didn't offer another car to me. He did. I just had to get going. Otherwise I would have ended up in Dallas traffic. So my little impulsivity and now with my ADHD, I just drove a car that smelled like an ashtray. So I got back, and that night was okay, but started the snowfall. It was absolutely nice. Monday, Martin Luther King, the real snow started. I have not seen in Texas the like banks of snow falling. And I actually saw that at one period. It was like, wow. So made a little snowman, made, had other snowman pictures sent to me, had this. It was just so cool. But my legs don't like it. So I don't know if it is the spasticity or it's the 5 years of having ALS and being oddly intact for that 5 years, being a slow progressor, but my legs have been giving me hell. They're very unstable right now. I really should be using my power chair more. And I can tell you tomorrow I'll be probably using my power chair. My nursing school, the foundation and the nursing theory, it was, first nursing school was founded on was Dorothea Orum's self-care. So, the self-care thing and the, moving, if you don't, keep moving until you lose it, or you will lose it, might change it to keep losing until you lose it. I talked to my counselor because I have been getting CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy counseling for the past 5 years. And the thing is, she told me to think about what I wanted to focus on or my going forward this year. What am I going to be doing? What are my goals? How do I want to see my future? And for me, it's like my brain just doesn't work that way. There's things I want to do, this, here, there, but it's very loose with the way my brain is. ADHD. It's not that I'm a C9 or 72. I am. I don't think I have frontal temporal lobe dementia on top of my ALS yet. It's always a scary thing. But my brain just doesn't work that way. It's just, I'm very loose about that. I'm kind of being present in all the therapy, all of the meditation I do and the goals, Buddhist principles, be present. So I'm always trying to be present every day. And that does take you to some interesting places when you watch, and all the squirrels run everywhere, and you watch and you see things, you kind of keep present. So having the larger view of things, not just my inner milieu and what I'm going through each day, is a different way to look at things. And it's kind of like one of those things, it's like a test. So what are you going to do? I don't know. I mean, I have, one shoe that can drop at any time. My legs being unstable, going to the store and trying to get to the thing when my husband's in a tiff. I have a 12-year-old daughter. My second child is 12 right now. And she is on the spectrum of ADHD and is dyslexic and is 12. And all 12-year-olds have all those emotions and the hormones are hitting them and the social, everything's about friends. And it's all about, the games, the phone addiction that kids get and the game things and all that. It's like, dealing with that. 12 is a conundrum age for me. So I was kind of in a tiff with having, friends come over I didn't expect and making cocoa, making coffee cake and doing this and that. And my husband didn't get my text because Google and Apple aren't talking right now. They're in a tiff. So some messages I sent didn't get received, other messages that did. Oddly enough, the things I wanted to get him to get at the store weren't there. We talked about it. It's like, so I'm probably going to have to leave messages for him. So that way the messages are received. See, when you think calmly, when you talk about things and you don't just instantly react, Therapy has helped me with that. Showed him my phone. He showed me his phone. There's just some kind of connection issue. So we went to the store. And of course, he's like, I've done this. I took an Uber thing to get the kids to the... So it's snowy, it's icy. The roads are icy. We live in Houston, Texas. And people in Houston, Texas think that they just, speaking of gaming, I think that they are in GTA with the way they drive. We've had a lot of people move to Texas and into the Houston area too. I mean, it's one of the third largest, I guess there's two third largest cities in the United States right now, and Houston's one of them. So we have millions and millions and millions and millions of people here. And there are people that are international. It's a very international city. And there's people from, intercontinent. There's a lot of people here from, Mexico, United States, and Canada. And everyone drives a little bit different. But the people that drive, I mean, sometimes I think you need to go to the DMV and get your, pass your driving test again. Because it's scary driving now. People are like the pandemic and the people that stayed home and those that did that and all the people that moved. It's scary. I mean, there's some people that just, I don't want to deal with them driving because I know how to drive in ice and snow. My husband, from Chicago knows how to do it. Even my sister that lives in North Dakota is like, I wouldn't drive there during that. And, they deal with that all the time. So, I've had the one experience because I was essential personnel. You're in the hospital, you work in the hospital as a nurse, it doesn't matter what weather's outside, you still patients need care. Hospitals don't just close. Oddly in the American healthcare system that's broken right now, that has happened. But you still have to show up. So I have driven and gotten off when there's ice, and there's this sick glimmer that you see with black ice. And there was ice and it was sleeting and people were, I'm driving in my happy little 25-30 driving, and I, had to correct a little bit, and I'm seeing people flying past me at 70 skimming out, and I got off of the road because the way Houston is built, different than other areas, there's a lot of bridges and a lot of roads are bridges, and we are known as a bayou city. But there's a lot of bridges. Everything's above ground, a lot of the freeways. And that freezes a lot, so scary. And we've had people around where I live, run red lights. Thankfully, hopefully the police stop them. People die most often 5 minutes from their house. That is a statistic. So knowing how people drive, and especially now, and there's not sidewalks to the corner store. Corner store in the United States is like a gas station or a little convenience store where you can purchase snacks, buy gas, etc., etc. And her and her friends, and apparently this is what their age group does. They want to get out and they want to walk. And because of ice and snow and falling into the road where there's drivers that are crazy, even though the speed limit's just 45, they break that too. I was like, the stereotypical mother, no. My husband's working and, walking on a lot of concrete, and I'm like, remember, break an arm, not your head. It's the old nurse that lives within me. But so I'm like, no, you're not going to do that. So my husband ended up driving them to the corner store. And by the time he got back, he made them buy him something as an Uber thing. So he got a particularly interesting ramen, convenience store. So to go to the store again, he did not give me any problem. He just was in a rush, just like that. And I'm like, walking, just like trying to get boots on. The little bear claw boots. I mean, it's a little bit more difficult when you have foot drop and you're not walking great and you're not quite steady. And oh my God, I had not switched out the disabled parking, because I have the hanger on it. In the United States, every state has different things, but the common thing that's federal for permanent disability, if you have the placards, they are blue. So my blue one was sitting on the formal dining table, and I hadn't grabbed it. And when someone does that rush, we have to do this, rushes to do that, my little ADHD unmedicated brain goes blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to get the boots on. I don't remember the placard and my cane that I had because switching out cars. I did have the walker in the trunk in that one, but you know, just at least I can say the sun came out. It got to 37 degrees, so some of the ice melted that was on our front porch. You know, we have a front porch that has a tile, and that's a slippery sucker when it's icy. I wouldn't attempt it. I would jump into the grass. But even with that, with my way I'm walking, it isn't safe. So went to the store. I could walk better with a cart, but just that activity of getting the onion and bell pepper and Barilla noodles, you know, my legs weren't doing good. We got back and my legs weren't doing good. My husband's like, you need to sit down. You know, it's like, I will push myself, and because I have that ability to push and go beyond, my endurance is something that I really have to work on. I have to put myself in a box, which I'm not about boxes. No. But I did need to realize it. So I did, and you know, my body was powering down, you know, had people chatting with me, which was lovely, but powering down, and boom, I took a nap. I got woken up by the 12-year-old, and she actually walked from her friend's house, who's at the back of the neighborhood, and asked, can I spend the night? And I'm thinking, well, just one of my friends, I could say they could sit in the front yard. People are gonna come in your house, and we hadn't straightened up. But do I want to get into the argument and be the strict parent and cause all those problems when I'm not feeling that great? No. You broke some of the rules, and we will talk about, oh, and she didn't realize she had done it. So it's like, okay, am I going to get into a pissing fight with my 12-year-old? No. I'm trying to do the calm parenting thing. Hard when you have all those emotions. You know, the horror thing has happened. I have a burgeoning teenager, and I'm in perimenopause, menopause. It's like, the ends of women and womanhood. And my first daughter is pregnant again, so you add that. Well, the women in my family were all very interesting right now. So she's spending the night. My husband and I, we didn't have spaghetti, but my body wouldn't let me make spaghetti right now, so that's okay. Hopefully it's going to freeze again tonight, so the roads may be icy again. And I will probably be, you know, under my heated blanket and wrapped around other blankets and sucking down baclofen and Keppra as doctor prescribed. And just trying to, you know, live through it, you know, until it warms up again. And hopefully it comes back. If it comes back and it's warm, I will be going to the hill country, and I have a lunch evening date with my oldest niece, which is lovely because she's going to college in the hill country. So that will be lovely, you know. I complain about it, but you know, I have my second daughter. Both my daughters are ADHD, and I believe that, as I am, you know, they got it honestly. It is genetic. And my granddaughter probably has it too because she's very hyperactive. I don't know, it gives you a different view in life. And you know, I think that we were valuable folks, and it's a gene that survived because back when we were hunter-gatherers and you were looking for food, and if someone could spot that one thing, oh look, you know, we were probably valued at some point. Sitting in a cubicle and you know, all the due dates and all that stuff, you know, do anything with a stationary job that you can't move. I couldn't do it. I mean, and here I have ALS, so I'll be stationary. But I can tell you my mind will be moving 1,000 spaces differently. you know. Bless Steve Gleason, you know, put out that his eyes won't blink anymore. I can only imagine you're on a trach, you're in a chair, and he was a very profound thinker. He is a very profound thinker. Amazingly read, just a beautiful person. But can you imagine your way of communication is blinking with the eye glaze, you know, work, and the way you can write, and then you're trapped inside of yourself? I mean, ALS is a brutal, nasty disease. It's awful, awful, awful. You know, profound suffering. I don't know. So I suffer right now with the pain of a severe spasticity with cold. I suffer when it's too hot too. You know, if I could just live at 72 degrees, you know, San Diego, other than fires, would be lovely. And of course, it's too expensive to live there. I'm sure with all the fires, housing will be short. So sad. I mean, there's just so much stuff going on now. You know, it's like I'm trying to avoid the news right now. You know, you see people burning down. I mean, yes, there's people that are very, very blessed that have had one of their houses burned, but there's a lot of people, regular people, that are now unhoused and are dealing with, you know, this trauma of losing your house. You know, being here with the hurricanes, and, you know, there was a tropical storm Allison. You know, I had 8 foot in my duplex I lived in my house. So I lost everything. I lost my Volvo. It floated and it ended up getting mold so bad. I mean, it's like, you know, I've lost everything before. You know, I have the people, and that's what matters, but you know, you don't understand what people are going through. And, you know, having in the US, the political, everything's been so politicized. There's so much. It's like, you know, having a natural disaster happen, whether there were some arsonists, whether, you know, the San Andreas, I'm not saying it right. That's the fault line. The winds that happen are awful, awful, awful. You know, hurricane, you know, 180 to 100 mile per hour winds, you know, that's hurricane status. You know, I think that would be like category 1, edging towards a category 2. And then you have it dry, 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 dry. And, you know, power lines, just anything, you know, someone sitting it out in a car, you know, boom, fires. You know, to have that go on, ugh. And then having the political, I can't, I just can't, I can't. So I have not. You know, you read the news, and depending on what side you're on, you could be very happy or very, you know, pessimistic. I don't know. I just have to not concentrate on the scary. You know, I am here on Social Security Disability because I have ALS. Yes, I worked for over 25 years before I was a nurse and as a nurse. So I have fulfilled my, what do they call that? Quarters that they have, that, you know, all the things you need to get Social Security. I have fulfilled that, right? The idea of having that cut off scares me. So you have any of the talking heads talk about things. You know, I'm on Medicare and medications, like, you know, I'm a diabetic, insulin. You know, my potential things of needing help, you know, the idea of those being cut are very scary. And I just don't want to feed into the narrative of fear, the narrative of division, the narrative of hate, separation. I don't want to feed into that. So I guess that could be something on the list of what I want to focus on this year. You know, put the things out that I want to do. Like weekly though, we were off this week because there was a federal holiday on Monday. And I do the meditations weekly, and I'm involved in a Sangha that helps others. And, through Recovery Dharma, which, for those that are recovering and the family members that are recovering from addiction or disordered thinking, it's something that I feel that I'm actually making a difference in people's lives. And as a nurse, as someone that wants to help others, it's something that fulfills it. I also am a advocate for other issues. And there's some issues that I'm an advocate of that I need to see of my resources and my abilities. And it's changing. I don't know if it's spasticity or the shoe's dropping. In fact, the shoe probably is dropping at increments I just don't know about. And at any point, I could be fully disabled. At any point, I could be dead. And I really don't want to, because I have another grandchild coming in August. I really want to live. I really want to be there for my daughter. Me being there for my oldest will hopefully have her be there for my youngest. And being present and being able to be there and make that change and be that change, that be that light in that situation is something that I really want, something that I find a lot of value in. My friendships, I have precious people that I absolutely love that I'm friends with. And those friendships and those experiences we have and those conversations we have feed my soul. And I want to be able to be there for those. I have my husband, who's the sweetest one, even though he can walk off too quickly and, pull me apart. I'm sure he could complain 1,000 different ways about me too, right? We watched the new, while we ate dinner, the new Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy's Netflix thing. It wasn't the funniest one, though. It's kind of like, you have to think about a comedian does their life, and we have to think about from this period. We've all worldwide gone through the pandemic and the aftermath, inflation around the world, different things, different cultures, the TikTok effect. Oh, there'd be people that are so upset about TikTok being gone, or, oh, it's back, oh, it's gone, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. It's just not me. I mean, I think that the CCP is pretty awful, totalitarian governments, and that do human rights atrocities. Then again, you're looking at what happened, that's happening in the Ukraine and in Palestine and Israel. There's Syria. There's a lot going on. You know what I mean? And, you start seeing things that are going on where you see the worldwide raising of fascism. It's like the, far right going in Germany. It's a lot of scary times. I mean, there's just scary times going on, So I'm trying not to look at that. So let me not look at that, but let me look at ALS. It's like, and that's, I'm in groups for compassionate care, which I absolutely love, and I'm very privileged to be in those groups. Very, very privileged to be cared for compassionately. There's the IMALS, the other ALS Association, and I don't know. I mean, I can advocate for, and I will raise my voice for that, but it's hard. It is hard to look at your death. It's hard to look at the disability and the losing parts. There's parts of me. There is a song by Gomez, the band, that was used in, I think, Grey's Anatomy. I'm losing little parts of me. I'm losing little abilities. You know, whether it's plugging in the USB ports and the little card things, you know, that's a little bit difficult. Even today, my walking, you know, it's kind of like when it gets cold, you know, kind of like the almost you would say the fluidity, you know, like the fluid that allows your muscles and your joints and your limbs to move. It's already kind of on the down. It's really kind of low. You should check those levels. And then it goes past 40 degrees and sees up. So not being able to do what I want to do, not being able to move the way I want to move, not being able to get up and get a soda, not being able to make a meal, not being able to do that, and to be vulnerable and to ask for help. That vulnerability is very difficult for me. I've been a hyper independent person for many, many years. It's, you know, one of those calling cards from trauma, right? And having to be vulnerable and being more comfortable with being vulnerable and being present is sobering to be a part of, sobering to be in this seat in this moment, or laying down on that surface in that moment. So in this situation with the holidays and all those other expectations, you know, it's really the person that is in charge of the festivities that creates the holidays, right? So putting out that and creating Christmas, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. I was a part of the receiving of another person doing New Year's, and then the birthday stuff I was a part of. But all of these holiday stuff and coming on to the sad season and having other people that I love deeply in the sad season and dealing with their family members and those that have dealt with family that they love that died and those that are circling that. Has been difficult. And it's been hard for me to make videos because I don't want to put, you know, we have all this stuff in, you know, it's like, I'm like, yes, I have ALS, I'm dying. You know, it's like, that's been since I started this channel, what, 4.5 years ago? Some people want to see it, and I think some people complain, I can't see your ALS. You know, I don't know. Are they trying to ask, why aren't you dying yet? Why aren't you dead yet? Or the angry little people that have ALS, and it's like, I've already lost this. Why haven't you lost this? You know, it's the internet. It is Main Street of the world. There will be people that comment on stuff and do that. It's just being vulnerable and being in a moment of not knowing what you're losing, not knowing if you've lost it yet, not knowing how to express this in ways that are not offensive and not pathetic, whiny. You know, I don't want to be whiny. I've been in a hard time. I mean, you think about it, you know, in a week and a half, it'll be the anniversary of my father-in-law dying. It's 2 weeks till my mother died. And when my father-in-law died, he died like 2 rooms over from where my mother died. Then my uncle committed suicide, and then my dad died. I mean, this is my sister that died's birthday is the second week of February, and we miss her. It's just hard. I mean, it's just, you know, We don't talk about grief in my culture as often. Um, and grief is not comfortable for people. When you're going through it, it's such an internal mind, body, emotional experience that you can't quite talk the same, right? It's hard to be a part of everything when a part of you has been torn out and you have that hole. And my body remembers, it's like that there's a trauma book that I have always had a problem with. The body remembers. It does. It really does. So this time of year has always been a difficult time for me. I will start going and I'll start feeling sad or a little bit depressed, and then I realize this year I knew that this was happening and I could feel it. I mean, my oldest was in the hospital with asthma at right around the beginning of the holidays. After the holidays, she got out and I had COVID, and then I couldn't go take care of her. Just like there's been a lot, uh, so I'm trying to work on relaxing in the midst of spasticity, of being grateful, because if I can look at the good in the midst of all of this, swirling, chaotic kind of stuff, you notice, I think, and you bring more in focus of the good, of the beauty. Like, find something beautiful today. It's there. There is something beautiful today. There is something good. It is something to grab onto. Acknowledge the emotions. Acknowledge that, I think that there's people that would say, well, just get over it. God, it was last year, or it was 3 years ago, or it was 2 years ago, or it was 10 years ago, or it was 15 years ago. You still have those parts, and you still have that love that never went away. Those parts will still ache at the memory and those anniversaries. I mean, you think about the Filipino culture. They're very much, people I know that are Filipino would take the days off for the anniversaries of their dying people. I don't do that, though my body feels it, and I feel that sadness. And it's okay to feel sadness. Talking about my second child, and she's 12. She's 12. It's normal for 12-year-olds. I keep telling myself that it's normal for 12-year-olds. Teenagers, they have the hormones. They're not the nicest. They're kind of growly. They start getting sweet again when they're 19. I don't know what sweet 16. They're still kind of a little bit. And it's boys and girls that, it's just that, it's just kind of like you want to teach them how to be polite and to follow the rules, and, to be able to be successful and to go on to be who they're supposed to be and follow the rules of society so they don't end up in prison, right? It's not like she's like that. She's just an annoying 12-year-old girl. Tries, she's very sweet. She's a very good artist. It's just that she's very good with friends, and she's such a good artist. She's been put in 7th grade in a class that she needs to make better grades on so she can start a high school art class in 8th grade. She has been chosen, and it's hard to get those positions, so she needs to step it up, though she has the one friend in that class. And I told her, she had her 504 meeting. I had that last week too. And 504 is a educational benefit that was brought into the 1970s from people that were disabled. The Disability Rights Act, it helps us with ALS, but also helps other people with educational problems. And so my daughter that is ADHD and has dyslexia has a 504. She no longer needs her IEP, though I always, if I don't get her things going, it's like always I can talk to her doctor and get the IEP opened up again. That really scares school districts, right? So I'm speak softly but carry a big stick, right? I don't know. Or carry a power chair. 300 pounds. Power chairs and cold. I need to find out about that. I mean, oh my goodness. It's like, buses stop when it's cold like that. Here in Texas and Houston, the whole city shut down for a day, 2 days. And things are starting to open up tomorrow because some of the stuff melted off. But, buses weren't going. So I don't know what with the battery pack, with the power chair, if that's affected by cold. I should probably look that up in some of the groups that have people that live in Wisconsin and up in Minnesota and other places that have Canada, that have really cool places that have ALS, or in Europe, MND. It's like, there's like things to plan for that, I don't know. Make the plans for the worst, hope for the best. What do I want to focus on that will make me happy, that feed my soul for this year? I know that going to a conference with someone that I hold dear to my heart, and several that I hold dear to my heart, will be something that feeds my soul. Being there for my new grandbaby. I'm really hoping it's a boy, but I'll be happy if it's a girl, just a healthy baby, right? Being there for my daughter, that's something that I so desperately want to be there, and to be that support. And for my granddaughter becoming a big sister, that's a big thing. I am the daughter of the first son. I'm the first daughter, first grandchild of my generation. My daughter was the first grandchild of her generation. My granddaughter is the first daughter of her generation. So being the oldest is a big thing, and it's like a title, right? So introducing that thing of being a big sister and the importance of that, and kind of helping that form and that doing that, is kind of why I want to be there. Besides the fact you have a baby, you have a 4-year-old, I don't think they let 4-year-olds too often in the hospitals. And, I want daddy to be there with mommy with the baby. I want to be a part. I want to be a help. I want to be there. So hopefully I am. There's only hopes. I could get hit by a bus tomorrow on ice. Yeah. Got me out. But I didn't walk to the corner store. My legs wouldn't let me. I don't know. We'll figure it out, step by step. This is life. I can't look, and there's not a damn way, you could, be the person that makes a difference. It takes it, things that one part of our thing, it's a civil rights movement. It doesn't happen overnight. People that are dealing with trauma or addiction, or the family members of addiction, that's not solved overnight. I have been blessed that I am a survivor of things, and that I have been graced with therapy throughout the years, and currently for a extended period of time, and that I found meditation, I found friendship, and that I have found friendships that feed my soul. I have found people that I am close to that feed my soul, and that is such a blessing. Yeah, I was in this one group, and these people are saying how horrible ALS is. Oh, how horrible this is trouble. Oh, horrible. And I'm like, yeah, ALS is a beast. It's pretty freaking ugly. I don't know how it is for a caregiver to look at it, and how awful it is to them. Seeing someone you love, and how people shut down when they're doing this. That vulnerability thing is a big thing, right? I'm not the only one that probably doesn't like being vulnerable and experiencing it. And anybody in pain and suffering, you're not generally the most conversationally nice person when you're going through it. And if you always need assistance, that's burning on the person that's a caregiver. There's caregiver stress, caregiver burnout, right? And not everybody that gets diagnosed or has the time that I have had to deal with it, to, for me, it was identifying that I'm a trauma survivor, that, counseling was important, and going back into the deep dive of meditation and doing that and experiencing that to undo some of the layers of trauma I've had to make my death easier, because I'm a retired hospice nurse. And I've seen people that had histories like mine dying, and they have a very hard time. And it's hard for your family member to see you crying or reliving that experience of suffering, of trauma. So I've tried to get all that stuff up. And unfortunately, my life has been really, that's the goal I had. And Lord, oh my, did that not happen? I had things that happened in ways like my mother and her adventurous, traumatizing beginning of her death. Sometimes for me, some memories, my brain decided were locked because they weren't safe. And sometimes it just takes a certain experiences that pop the things off. That's what is a true trigger. And that's when I use the word triggered, not just, it had mango or cilantro in it. I'm so triggered by that. It's been overused, right? I have been blessed with healing a lot of parts of that. But anyway, so I think that's a gift, right? Oh, that's horrible. That's awful. Well, it's been a gift to experience this. It's been a gift to take time off. It was a gift to be able as a nurse to retire, for God's sakes. I can't even imagine. The healthcare system is broken. It was broken before the pandemic in the United States. I don't know about other countries, but it really hasn't gotten better. Yeah, you don't have to wear a mask everywhere, but oh my goodness, medical staff around the world have PTSD. And little bits are dropped, little bits are this, little bits are that. Now I'm blessed that I have, I go to the ALS clinic I go to, that Houston Methodist, and the doctors that are there are world-class doctors, and the nurses and the care, that is all beautiful. That is all really, world-class. So I'm not talking about them, but I'm talking about my daughter in her hospital with one of the OBs she was in, with some of the, the whole thing with her, with, my granddaughter having surgery. Oh yeah, my granddaughter had surgery, and having that taken care of. It just, I hear from, people that I know from around the world. Heck, my sister, when she had, the nausea, vomiting, brain thing, she was a patient of MD Anderson, and they told my stepbrother, she won't survive, or my stepbrother, I'm sorry, my brother-in-law, that she would die if she got on a plane, and just this whole little thing. So she had brain surgery in Utah, in a small city of Utah, and you open cancer up, and what happens? So she died. I thought she was gonna die, and then she died, she started having pain 4 months after that, and the cancer spread to her and into her spinal cord. And her pain was controlled. They actually listened to me, and she had hospice, and she died a very comfortable death. She had children, which that whole thing is hard. I still think about my nieces and nephews. One of my goals, it will be to see them in that small town in Utah over spring break. There is a place there, and this is if my legs work. If my legs don't work, I'm not going to be able to do it as easily. But there's a place out there that there's a man that has property, and you can go find quartz on his land for free. It's like treasure hunting. I've always wanted to treasure hunt. Go to Arkansas, you can dig for diamonds and emeralds. Ooh, how cool. It's like in Nevada, you can, mine for fire opal. Oh, I would so love a fire opal. Things that you can do. Adventure. It's like, even if I'm in a chair, I want adventure. That's part of what drives me, what is my focus. It's like, but you can't just put ideas of what you want, actually drawing these events, and this is what I want to focus on. I don't know. There's so many things I want to focus on. It's hard to just write down a couple. But what will my body let me do? Maybe I need to look like that. It doesn't let me do a whole lot of what I want to do all the time. I don't know what it's going to let me do day by day. And I'm one of the lucky ones with ALS. Seriously. And in that conversation when they're talking all about blah, 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 yucky, yucky, yucky about ALS, talking about, oh, how this horrible things. I'm like, I still think ALS is a gift. A horrible one, not one you really want. You know, it's a brutal, awful, terrible disease. You can lose your ability to blink, and that's your way of communication. You're stuck in your body. How horrific is that? But the fact that I've had the chance to make those relationships, to deepen those relationships, for me to take care of myself and to find the ability to be vulnerable, to undo some of these wraps and these ties and this and that I've had, that's a gift. To have the authenticity that I've always had, but to be able to look at it with clear eyes, that's a gift. So I'll be unwrapping some of the yucky parts of ALS, and you know, those aren't gifts, but I'll try to find the beauty within it, right? Well, I hope you're taking care of yourself, and thank you for listening to this rant, this update, this talk of what it is. Oh, my hand just cracked. I hope you didn't hear that. Getting through it. It's the winter. It is the time to, well, I mean, you know, for the Northern Hemisphere, for those of you in Australia, New Zealand, and South America and all those parts, hope you're doing great. Hope you're staying cool. May the wildfires there not be bad this year. MND and ALS sucks. There's beauty there. There's always a laugh in a day you can find. There's always a sunset, a book to read, a quote, a song, a prayer, a chant. There's always something good. So I hope that you find the good in the day and find the beauty in the day. And thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. One of my goals of this year will be actually making more videos. And hopefully we get through this winter time, this shutting down time, this grief remembrance time, that it'll be a little more warm, a little, you know, me and my little lizard self will have, get on that rock and feel a little more energy to talk. But I adore you guys. I'm going to put a couple pictures in at the end, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Please find the beauty in the day because it's there.